it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell when the devils look like angels and angels look like hell. The devil don't live down in hell. The devil's right here, doing very well. And it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell when the devils look like angels and angels look like hell.
Patience helps. And if you remember, we were working on my slave cylinder. I put new O-rings in it. No drips there, good deal. And one way to bleed the slave cylinder line from down here all the way up to here is to pull this and leave it locked on. Yeah, you saw the squirt. With a tie wrap or a belt or whatever you got to hold that handle in. That's one way to gravity feed bleed that. I did not do that because it bled pretty quick when I put it back together. It bled really quick and good, and I felt really comfortable with it. If you remember, we tried Tom's way, Tom the factory guy, and it didn't work. I don't know why that was that way. I tried a couple different directions of doing Tom's way, which is like 1 3/4 inch turn out of all dead stop all the way in. And I'm not bad-mouthing anything. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. For a change on this bike, it bled real quick, and I got it, and I'm really tickled with it. And I didn't do gravity feed, which is, like I said, there it goes, squirts again. Pulling on that and holding it with a tie wrap or something for a day or two and let it bleed down. I didn't do that, and it's still holding, and I'm tickled because that's going to save me some bucks. I don't have to buy a slave cylinder for my clutch. So, next what I want to do is I'm going to run through here and check all these bolts on my intake manifold because I have a dying issue, which is a common issue sometimes. Not common, but it happens a lot with the Excelsior Hendersons. And one way to double check all that is to retighten those guys up, make sure they're tight, and we don't have any vapor leaks. Notice this is loose. That happens when you get these 4 studs out of here. I'm trying to do is get this thing running for tonight. Tonight is Euro Bike Night downtown Lincoln, and if that's the case, I'd like to get down there. I really enjoy it, and people take lots of pictures of this bike. So that's what I'm going to do next, and then I'll assemble the air cleaner assembly back up, and then I'm going to plug in, there it is, plug in the computer here and do some adjustments on the leakage and probably turn the throttle back up a little bit and try all that, and then maybe if I got some time I can clean this old girl up again. And I'm excited. I haven't rode in over a week, and before that it was 9 months. And that's probably the longest since I've owned this bike that I have not rode this bike. And that was all due to my back issue. We all know about that. So I'm going to put you down, get you mounted on my chest so you can see what's going on, and go from there. Those Allen heads on the intake manifold to the head is this size, and I don't have a whole set of snap-ons with wobblies on the end of them that are extra long. I don't have it, so I got to use a regular old school L-shaped Allen wrench. I got stuck in the hole there, and these are both intake runs into the heads, and there's 2 Allen heads on this. 2 Allen heads on each run. So there's one here, and then there's another one down on the side, and then there's this one on the other side there. So that's what I'm doing. I probably, ooh, that was loose. That's not good. I was just going to tighten these up and turn off the camera, but might as well go on the adventure with Bruce here. I'm sure there's a torque spec on this, but I do not have an inch-pound torque wrench. So I'm glad I checked that. This one isn't as loose. It is a little loose though. Of course it's crowded. Cool beans. So like I said, I don't have inch-pound wrench, so I do it by the way you feel, and I usually don't have any problems with that. And yes, I do understand why you want to go. Pretty exciting when this bracket breaks. If you're still running the stock one, beware. It's not any fun. You'll find your ignition switch hanging in here. It'll be broke. Well, the factory one, it usually breaks about here, I believe, if I remember right. This is the Bobby Bald one that did break once, and a friend of mine re-welded it for me, and I haven't had any trouble with it since. Bobby told me it'd never ever break. Oh, you can still see some of the chip marks of it bouncing around in here. Chip marks in the paint. No, that's not right. I know what that is. That's from prying the fuel line off of the intake, off the fuel rail. All right, onward. Got access to get in here, tighten her up. Ooh, that one's loose. Why does this bike even run? And as usual, remember, our casings, jugs, heads are all sand cast. You just don't get in here and start bearing down on stuff. You're going to pull threads. Our casings, everything is soft. And I've said it a million times in my other videos, and I'll keep saying it. It's just, you can fix it, but it's just something else you got to do, and I'm not sure that we all need something to do like that. You know, putting in a time cert. Putting in a time cert's going to take you 30 minutes at least, if not more. All right, I'm just double checking this one because I won't have access to it. And there we go. All righty. Looks like it had some. I'll put some on there. Big believer in Loctite on these bikes. If I got some, hopefully I do. What's your guys' flavor of Loctite? I really like this paste. Comes in these kind of tubes here, and I really like it because it doesn't dribble down and get wasted. Loctite's pricey. See, it's just enough that it doesn't run. See, it just sits there, which is great. There it is. No waste, no muss or fuss. I bought big amounts, big bottles, squeeze bottles of Loctite, and thinking I was saving money, and I probably did. And I've used lots of Loctite products. I just like this stuff the best. And I might have to get on Amazon and see if they got tubes of this. This is that gel or whatever you'll call it. I really like it. It's just not near as messy. Yahoo yippity. I'm going to reassemble all this mess and get this all tightened up. There's a gasket on the backside of this throttle body. It's no more. You can use silicone and it'll hold it up. I've got a gasket. Mine, for some reason, I've just been lucky. Assembly required. Oh yeah, up here's your AIC. That's this thing here. When you turn your ignition on, you're going to hear this move around. And inside there's a plastic plunger that runs by a breather hole to these two ports. Sometimes it gets really dirty and that creates issues with idling. I recommend at least cleaning it out once a year. I mean, our bikes don't run clean. I mean, they puke and backfire. It's a gasoline motor. It's just the way it is. Taking it off here, if you want to, you can take it up there and really clean it good. Be wary, this AIC, this IAC here, this device. The plunger in there, you hit it right with your hand, it takes across the shop and heads into the twilight zone, never to be seen again. Ask me how I know. I think I've done it to 2 of them. So when I take those out, I never touch the plunger. I might wipe it off, but I don't do anything else with it. It's something that you'll hear clicking when you turn the ignition on. That's called the IAC. It's Air Idle Controller. And over here is your TPS, or throttle position sensor. And it opens and shuts your butterflies for the fuel injection. All right, I've Loctited these 3 of these studs. The one didn't come out, so I'm not going to worry about it. This intake is looking a little ratty right there. I'm gonna put a little grease on it just to save me some headaches later. I need a lot of things. Again, as a reminder, the throttle body and this intake manifold with the ears that this is all attaching to, this is all sand cast or soft cast aluminum. Don't over torque. But like I said at the beginning of this video, I have pulled down 3-4 Excelsiors. This part, intake, factory in this, and have found them loose, real loose. I mean rattly loose, like hard to believe loose. So we just got to learn how to be nice. You don't want to over tighten, but you want it tight enough. Don't get it tight enough, then it's going to be loose. You over tighten, and then it's still going to be loose. All right, these guys are all 1/2 inch. What I'm looking at up here, I'm trying to make sure all of this is pulling flat. This edge and this edge. I want to make sure it's pulling flat before I start twisting the studs down a little bit. If you don't, it's soft aluminum, guys. You're gonna pop a thread or break off one of these ears, and then you're gonna have to go buy something. We don't want to have to buy something every time, right? Note. Now, this is ambient temperature sensor for the fuel injection. Here's your AIC port. On the factory one, there's another one. I think there's a map. Mass airflow. It don't matter. Just remember that. And you don't want the factory plastic one. You just don't. It warps, and you're going to have trouble. You want to do this. This is expensive. I know it is. But it includes this backing plate, a cover plate, and the K&N air filter. You don't want that plastic one on there. This warps behind, leaks air past the air filter. It can get bad, especially if you're running it pretty hot, like a really hot day, and you don't got an oil cooler and all that good stuff. Get this. You want this. This should be one of the early items you purchase. I think some of us need to create a list in priority of what should be purchased for getting your Excelsior Henderson up to speed, or all the updates done on it. It can be fun. I mean, out and out fun. Lots of arguments. I can just see it already. Can't see. There. I was gonna say I need a tripod for my camera, so I don't have to wear it on my chest. I just hate it on my chest. Feel like I got a girdle on or whatever you want to say. It's uncomfortable. All right, where's that bolt? 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I got the big spacer on this side. You saw that. Now I got the little spacer, and it goes on this side. Need to get a little Loctite on that. If this was a museum piece, or I was competing some kind of Excelsior Henderson concours, I would be most likely wiping all these bolts off, getting clean steel for the Loctite. I know there's people watching this that are saying, ew. All I want with my Loctite, this ain't no show bike. This bike's road. I try to keep it nice. Yes, I'm fighting it. I'm sure somebody's got some slick way of doing this. This hard old rubber is being a pain in the butt on this backside. Okay, I think I'm there. All right. All right, so this is how I do it. That took me longer than normal getting that plate on. I don't know what the deal is. The filter's just getting old and hard because of heat impingement or what. But that was the toughest time I ever had. I've never, it'll wrestle me sometimes, but never like that. Now, if you remember, there's hexagon extensions on the studs here. You can tighten on those pretty good. Just remember, those hexagon extensions are also on the stud that goes back into your intake. You know, just keep that in mind. I know I sound a little paranoid about all the stripping of threads and stuff. Probably more so than I should, but I have. stripped my share of screws or bolts and screws on these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 6 of them I've done on this bike. And on other bikes I've done them. And I don't mind doing it. It's just one more thing you just really don't need something to do, like I said earlier. Keep it in mind when you're tightening all this shit down that you're sometimes I'll be honest, no matter what you do, they're still going to strip. It happens. The lug nut, not the lug nut, the drain plugs in the bottom of the motor. I think everybody's just going to do that sooner or later. It just is. It's a big heavy thread, it's sand cast. I just think it's going to. Mine, I didn't think mine ever would, and it finally did. Must have been about 40,000. And I've done 2 others. It's terrifying when you do it. You're thinking, I'm done, that's it, the bike's broke. And it isn't. You can fix it, but probably the scariest part of that whole procedure is laying the bike down on its side. And first time I did that, that was something. Marty told me to, yep, just lay the bike down right, get a bunch of sleeping bags, pillows, lay them on the ground, whatever you got. And I think it was Jeff Brown's bike. Holy crap. I'd never seen a bike laid down on its side on purpose. These normally, on the air cleaner cover, I don't Loctite every time. I am this time because if you note, I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but there's no Loctite left on the threads. And so I am Loctiting. I know sometimes I don't make sense, but working on my little 525 is personal. I take it to heart what I do, right or wrong. So these got Loctite on now, and in theory, that means I'll be able to take these button heads off 2 to 3 times without Loctiting again, because I don't clean my threads. And there'll be Loctite in there, it's granulated, and I have yet to have lost one of these guys. It just never has happened. Boy, I can't wait to clean this little girl up. She's so dirty. Been sitting way too long. All right, there we go. Air cleaner's back on. We'll put the tank on there. Okay, let's get that tank on there. I'm not looking forward to it. It's heavy. It's not full, but it's heavy. Let's look at my tape. Yeah, my tape's still holding those, whatever those pieces are with the rubber grommet inside. I gotta bring it over here. I gotta get set by these holes, and that's not gonna work with the straps on. I gotta get the straps off. Strapping the handlebars back down because it's tough enough wrestling that heavy old tank and then having the handlebars turn on you while you're trying to get in there. All right. This will be your sending unit. If you doubt me, check your schematic. The colors are black, white, and brown. And then over here will be your fuel pump. And it is, I can't even read that colors anymore. Looks like black, red, and black. And then this is your dash pod. This is the first one I got to get in there, and it's got to go up. Also, I got the fuel line I need to attach, which is under here somewhere. And I also got to get this puke pipe attached somewhere. And I know where that's at when I look. This is where the puke pipe attaches. That hose is getting hard. This is still good. Here's your sending unit, here's your fuel pump. And that's the hole for the plug-in for the gauges. So we're gonna see how this goes. This is the first time I've done this with the Magic Gorilla tape. See if it'll hold it in there, because I think I've stated it before, it's just a real challenge to get those in and not fall down. This one stuck on the wrong side. There we go. All right. Oh gosh, I'm not looking forward to this thing. It's heavy. Woohoo! Okay. What's this? All right. That went better than I thought. Where's my bolts? All right, I got the puke hose in there. I'm sorry I screwed up when I did it. This is it. It's running across the coil of the rear spark plug, and it went into this stiff hose and went right in there, no big deal. Next we want to tackle is the fuel line, which I thought was the puke hose. That's what I want to do, is because they're the harder of the two. Plugging in your electronics is pretty easy. So let's get this here. See where we're gonna go. Looks like we're gonna go this side of everything, as I remember it. I don't want that pinch clamp to cut my wires or scuff something up. There we go. Now I'll go on the other side, and hopefully these big old needle nose will get us where we want to go. I got these 90-degree big ass needle nose. All right, I'm back. Okay, we're gonna try and get the hose on this input port on the intake manifold. And here's the hose, it's right here. And I have these really giant needle nose with a 90-degree bend in them that I really like, but don't always work here. Let's see what we can do. Pull that pinch clamp back a little bit. There we go. Turn that around. Well, by golly, we got it. Let's see if this puppy leaks. Oh, the pump ain't hooked up. Let me hook the pump up and we'll see if it leaks. If it does, I'll change that fuel line while I got it up. Where you at, little bugger? Okay, so this is the lead off of the pump. And here is the lead to the pump. There we go, a nice crisp snapping sound. Put that in. Let's go look and see if that hose is going to leak. Because I want to know now. I don't want to find out later. I got to turn this off so I can hear. There we go. Nothing leaking. Cool. Awesome. Phew. Alrighty. Let's get that sending unit hooked up. There it is. And here's the lead. And there we are, we're hooked up. Alright, I'm going to bring this thing back down to short level again so I can get it tightened up and seat back on. I got to get my switch back up here. So I got everything done under here. I can take my block of wood out. Let it set down. Take my towel off because it's not digging the tank. And I'm going to work on this guy. In the meantime, my bike's coming down because my hoist leaks, and I don't care because it tells me to put a safety on there, and hopefully a safety to make sure it doesn't come down.
Next time I go to Sam's, I'll just grab 2 of them bags with that bird food.
Holy shit, where are we gonna put it?
Maybe in the house, basement or something, in the laundry room, so animals don't get it. I mean, it seems dumb to go that far, you know.
All right, I don't want to leave it in the garage.
No, I don't either.
Okay. Gonna spin this around so I can get my connector from the computer to reach, because I am going to ooh, that's ugly. I am going to tweak the tune a little bit. Go ahead and get my dash pad put back on. Okay, so this is the dash, upside down obviously. Just a little note. This gasket can be a real problem. Sometimes it comes with a memory, and I have fought these up to an hour, because as I get it almost onto the tank, it'll pop off and slide under. Now, that's aggravating in its own self, and I understand, where that is, and this sounds petty from an argument point of view of mine anyway. You're going to scratch the tank. If you don't have this under there, and you're not paying attention, and you're starting to bind her up, and you tighten these two bolts up, without this grommet on your edge, it's going to scratch the tank. So keep that in mind. And what I've done is I've actually taken a little bit of silicone and filled that crevice on this grommet and pressed it on there. Now, it's not on there firm because that's shiny chrome and it's not going to stay, but it is on there. Keep that in mind when you put that on. All right, got 2 1/2-inch bolts. Set them here. Plug this guy in. Click. I heard it. There you go. Lost the chrome bolt. That just makes me mad. Alrighty. Let's get this thing started and warmed up and get the tune ready to go. All right, so for now I re-entered the tune. Things aren't supposed to happen with the tune. I was yelled at about that previously by somebody. Nothing's supposed to happen. The tune's supposed to always be there, but sometimes when you re-enter it, I found luck of getting an advantage. On the leakage side of it, I jumped it way up there. Let's see if that helps. I was told that you could adjust idle on the tune. You cannot. The ECU is going to do what it does. It doesn't matter where you want it. And like I said, I'd like to have taken it up a little bit. Just because it's stalling, not all the time, not even 50% of the time, especially when it's cooler. When it's cooler, it doesn't stall at all. When it's hotter and humid, it stalls more. And when it stalls, it's doing it usually at a stoplight or a stop sign or when I pull over. So if this doesn't cure it, I remember talking to Mike in Minnesota. He said he was finding more and more bikes being troublesome, keeping them from stalling and running the leakage way up high, he said. Now the leakage, I just read the instructions and made me smarter, is basically the air idle mixture.